The difference is where you do the service from. There are an awful lot of religious organizations that do service, but they do service like will help the poor. That's not exactly karma yoga, or the use of serving somebody to transcend the dualism between the server and the served. I mean, I'm talking about it as a very precise method of enlightenment, of serving where there is no server. Because the Bhagavad Gita says, be not identified with being the actor, and be not attached to the fruits of the action. But still you do it. Now, how do you help somebody where you're not attached to how it comes out, and you're not busy being the helper? That's the art form. Then you're just doing what you're doing because you're doing what you're doing. You are the help. You're not the helper. You're the help. And who's getting helped remains open to question. If you're not getting helped by being a helper, forget it. You must be standing in the wrong place.
Welcome. I'm Angus, and I'm so glad that we've found this moment to be together. We are beginning a journey through Polishing the Mirror by Ram Dass and Rameshwar. We aren't here as teachers or students, helpers or those needing help. We are here as peers on a path, practicing the only dance there is. We are fellow explorers. Our goal is simple: to quiet the mind and open the heart so we can be in deeper service, Seva, to one another and the world. So our grounding practice, let's take a moment to settle. And if it feels right, close your eyes or let them rest gently on a single spot. Feel the weight of your body where you are sitting. This is our inner refuge. So bring your hand to your chest, to the spiritual heart. And as we breathe, imagine we're gently wiping the dust off a mirror. We aren't trying to change the mirror. We are just clearing the way so our true nature can shine through. And when you're ready, just take one deep breath in and let it go. We are here. We are together. So, chapter 7 of the book is content to be. And some sort of reflections on it, and kind of a theme I've put is the idea of the guru and the witness, and finding the teacher within and then in everyone. And the quote and question kind of to think of, or not quote, sorry, but the sort of reflection question we may have is, can you see the divine in the person you find most difficult to serve? Chapter 7, Content to Be, Beach Day. Once a week, I go to the beach on Maui for an ocean swim with a core group of regulars. The rest of the group varies depending on who's visiting the island. We hang out on the beach for a while and then we go into the water. Tom brings a bag of flowers and lovingly casts them on the water as we start to swim out toward the buoy, marking the swimming area. I absolutely love being in the ocean. Sometimes we sing, often we laugh. We are just floating in Mother Ocean, surrounded by love. We play ball in the water. My ritual is to touch the float and say, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. I have to be persuaded to return to the beach. One day, someone came up on the beach and asked what we were celebrating. One of the group said, we're celebrating because it's today and we're together. We weren't being facetious. We meant to recognize the everyday sacredness of everything, every day, everything. Beach day is a perfect reflection of my feelings of contentment. You may be thinking it's easy to be content on a beach in Maui. It's true, it's a beach. But this is not about physical contentment. In yoga, santosha or contentment is a practice that helps you quiet your mind and open your heart. Contentment is one of the mindsets that you use to direct your consciousness towards oneness. Oneness in the name of the game in yoga, or oneness is the name of the game in yoga. True contentment is not just existential. It is an attitude of the soul rather than of the ego or personality. It is a view of life from the soul plane. Love and compassion are emotions that arise from the soul. When you identify with your soul, you live in a loving universe. The soul loves everybody. It's like the sun. It brings out the beauty in each of us. You can feel that love radiating from your heart. When we are in that love, we enjoy just being wherever we are. There is a lot to be said for contentment like that. Think of the kinds of experiences that give you a feeling of contentment. Maybe your contentment comes from being in nature, listening to the birds or the sound of the waves meeting the shore, looking at the sunset or the stars in the night sky, or contemplating a rose in the garden. Maybe it comes from singing or listening to music, sinking into a warm bath, or being touched in a way that eases the body. Maybe it comes from watching your child or being with your dog or cat. Maybe you experience it when looking into the eyes of a loved one. Those are experiences that touch your soul. Contentment isn't high on the priority list in the West. We're all about achievement and consuming, getting more. Maybe we're afraid of the wheels of progress and the economy will grind to a halt if everybody becomes content. I remember someone once accusing meditators of bovine passivity. Living in the moment, being fully present, is anything but passive, but it does lead to a profound feeling that everything is just enough, a feeling of deep contentment. Much of my sense of contentment comes from my relationship with Maharaji and the constant remembrance of his presence in my life. Being in relationship with him is like having an infinitely deep pool of love and wisdom that always mirrors my deepest being. And you are ever again the wave sweeping through all things. Rainer Maria Rilke, Book of Hours. I found in Maharaji something that satisfied both my intellect and my heart. There was an intense degree of love, an oceanic feeling of love that pervaded the space he inhabited. There was an aura around him, a presence so powerful that you felt bathed and purified just by being anywhere near it. Even now, as I bring him into my heart, it does the same thing. Since the day when I met with my Lord, there has been no end to the sport of your love or of our love. I see with eyes open and smile and behold his beauty everywhere. I utter his name, and whatever I see, it reminds me of him. Whatever I do, it becomes his worship. Wherever I go, I move round him. All I achieve is his service. When I lie down, I lie prostrate at his feet. Whether I rise or sit down, I can never forget him. For the rhythm of his music beats in my ears. And that's Kabir. My love for Maharaji is my way of opening myself. He is constantly here, constantly reminding me of his presence. Moment by moment, I'm just hanging out with this being of consciousness, of love, of light, of presence. These are some of the things Maharaji said about love. The worst punishment is to throw someone out of your heart. You should not disturb anyone's heart. Even if a person hurts you, give him love. If you love God, you overcome all impurities. You should love everyone as God. If you do not love each other, you cannot achieve your goal. Christ said to love all beings as children of God and serve them. Give everything to the poor, even your clothing. Give it all away. Jesus gave everything away, even his body. Someone asked Maharaji how to meditate, and he replied, meditate the way Christ meditated. When asked how Christ did meditate, Maharaji said, He lost himself in love. He also said Christ was one with all beings, and he had great love for all in the world. He was crucified so that his spirit could spread throughout the world. He was one with God. He sacrificed his body for the Dharma. He never did. Or, sorry, he never died. He never died. I'm going to start over again. Someone asked Maharaji how to meditate, and he replied, meditate the way Christ meditated. When asked how Christ did meditate, Maharaji said, he lost himself in love. He also said, Christ was one with all beings, and he had great love for all in the world. He was crucified so that this spirit, or so that his spirit, could spread throughout the world. He was one with God. He sacrificed his body for the Dharma. He never died. He never died. He is the Atman, living in the hearts of all. All beings are reflections of Christ. You will get pure love for Ram by the blessings of Christ. Hanuman and Christ are one. They are the same. Maharaji was asked, what was the best method of meditation? He said, do as Jesus did and see God in everyone. Take pity on all and love all as God. When Jesus was crucified, he felt only love. Getting hip. One day in 2009, I went to get a book and I had an accident. I fell on my hip. There it was, a broken hip. I'm over 80 years old now, so I guess it comes with the territory. But that broken hip was my own fault. I'm in a wheelchair much of the time. And that day when I was transferring to the wheelchair, I didn't focus carefully and I fell. The dilemma for me is that I pay attention to my body full time. Even when I'm transferring, my consciousness doesn't get to be with my soul because I'm attending to my body, as most people do. I guess that the inattention is a symptom of my separateness. If I were really living in the one, there'd be no difference between soul consciousness and body consciousness. So I'm in the hospital getting my hip repaired. Hospitals are body oriented. They're body shops. To most of the hospital staff, I am the old guy in room 322 with a broken hip. That's who I am in their professional view. Nurses and doctors are souls whose roles include seeing the problems of the body and treating them. So they must know, right? The overwhelming mindset in a hospital is that we are our bodies, but aren't we also souls? Now, my view is that I'm in this incarnation to learn about my true self, to learn about my soul. Along the way, I have also learned about strokes and broken hips. As I learned, you can think about, as I learned, you can think about them in different ways. From my point of view, the workings of the body are grist for the mill to get to the soul. It's tough work because these bodies really capture our attention. Learning to swim is nothing compared to learning to live from the soul plane. In our minds, the body is out there and the soul, the I, is in here. To get to my soul, I have to turn my attention inward instead of outward. But I have to turn it selectively inward because at the same time, the body is demanding attention, and I better decide where my foot should go, or I am going to get myself killed. So I attend to my body when it's time to, and the rest of the time I work on being a soul. The body and the soul are like a couch and horses and a coachman. The horses are desires. The coachman is the ego, the I that controls the desires and looks where he's going and makes sure the foot doesn't go in the wrong place. But inside, the coach is a passenger who is riding in the coach. It's our soul. Coachman, would you stop, please? Coachman, you're going a little too fast. I am riding in my coach, and now and then my coach needs a grease job or a new bearing or a joint replaced. I'm in a coach. I'm in the coach shop for a hip joint, and they're the coach repair experts. That's fine as long as I know who I am, and that's and that I'm not on the coach, or I'm not the coach, that I am a passenger inside the coach riding along merrily, merrily, merrily. On the outside, I am recovering from a hip replacement operation, but inside I'm dancing. I look like an old fart, but I'm dancing inside, and what a wonderful, joyful dance. In India, it's called the Leela, the dance or the love play of the soul. And you can join in the Leela anytime because it's always going on. Here in this moment, it never stops. Did I lose my soul in the hospital? Well, maybe I lost the connection with my soul for a while, but I didn't lose my soul. Where could it go? I'm still here. I have a new hip. I'm even hipper than I was. Roles to souls. As we've discussed, within our consciousness are these different points of view. There's the ego and there's the soul, our spiritual self. They are two different planes of consciousness. From the spiritual vantage point, we are all souls who have come into these incarnations. We take birth, and this is our incarnation. Here we are, each of us an individual being. When I used to travel back and forth from America to India, I would land in New Delhi and take a bus up to a village in the mountains. The people in that village knew they were souls. When one was sweeping the road and another was the governor, The governor was not just a governor, and the sweeper was not just busy being a sweeper. They had these roles for this incarnation, but they also identified themselves as souls. I'd go back to America, and then they opened the plane door in New York. Everyone thought they were their roles. I'd go back and forth, roles to souls, souls to roles. Because of the pull of the incarnation, we get so deeply into our roles that we forget we are souls with all the sensations, emotions, and complications of being in a body, all the desires we forget. We think, I am a man, I am a woman, I am from California, I am a mother, a father, a widow, a child, something. I've got to be something, don't I? Think of all the ways you identify yourself with what you do. I am a teacher. I am a doctor. I am a scientist. I'm a cook, a Jew, a Christian, or Muslim, a stockbroker. I'm an achiever. I am a spiritual seeker. That one can carry you for years. I am retired. All that is the ego, who you think you are, the cluster of thoughts about how you identify yourself, thoughts about different roles that you play in society. When we meet someone, we ask, how do you do? And what do you do? But is that you? But is what you do the same as who you are? Every one of our roles is a thought form. We confuse our souls with our roles. You don't see me as a soul. You see me as Ram Dass, as a body, a role. What does it matter whether I am a cellist or a pilot or a teacher? When you strip away the roles, this outer form is just the body. Who I am is just here instead of how do you do? How about how do you be? Our inner being is beyond form. When you live from your soul and your heart is open, you can awaken other souls. You go into a grocery store and it's like a temple. Everybody is a soul. Some think they are customers, some think they work there. You get to the checkout and your eyes lock for an instant with the clerks. Are you here? I'm here. Wow, a fellow soul. If you have children, your children are souls. They're just playing the roles of children, and you're in the mother or the father role. If you're with a dying person and you see them as a soul, that transition from ego to soul is easier to make. If, as a caregiver, you're identified with your soul, it is easy to see the dying person as a soul and to ease their transition. So, just a moment, please. When we plumb the moment, this moment, not back then, not the future, but this moment, we get deeper and deeper and deeper into the universal heart of being. Finally, being in the moment blossoms into everything and nothing. It's all in this moment. This moment is always here. Now is eternal. That joy you get from being completely in the moment brings contentment. Contentment as a practice is different from satisfaction. It's not a feeling of accomplishment from doing something. Contentment is just being complete in that moment. Burrow into the moment. When you're in the moment, and here we are in the moment, if something is taking me out of the moment, I'll say, what am I doing here? Or where is it? What is it that blocks my contentment? It's raining. Doesn't rain make me content? The flowers are so grateful, and the rain is just beautiful. Little drops on the window. They're each like little globes, and now I'm content. I'm content to take a nap without thinking. I should be doing something else. I'm even content to have a broken hip that's healing. It's part of the body growing old, but I am just here. When I first traveled to India in 1966, I was just another Westerner visiting a foreign country. I was with a friend traveling in a Land Rover. We had canned tuna fish and Vivaldi tapes, beds, and all kinds of Western amenities. We looked out through the windows at this foreign culture. When we came to Benares, the holy city where Hindus go to die, people were walking the streets with leprosy and all kinds of illnesses just waiting to die. They each had a pouch, a little bundle of cloth that held the coins for their funeral pyre to pay for the wood to burn their body. As we drove through the city, I thought these people have no hospital, they have no support system, they're just waiting to die. These depressing thoughts and the ubiquitous poverty made me feel awful. When we got to the hotel, I hid under the bed. I visited Benares again 6 months later. It was the same scene, but in those 6 months, I had been living in a Hindu temple up in the Himalaya. Himalaya is under my guru's tutelage. Now, instead of just being a Westerner, I was maybe a Hindu or a little Buddhist. I began to see that Benares was a city of incredible joy, even though it held incredible physical suffering. Instead of seeing those poor people, instead of being overwhelmed and pushing away their pain, I could stop to look in their eyes. I saw two things. First, they looked at me with compassion, as if I were a hungry ghost, a homeless spirit wandering from place to place. And second, they themselves were content. How could they be content amidst all that suffering? They were content because if you are a Hindu and you die in Benares by the holy river Ganges, Shiva whispers in your ear and liberates you. These beings were in the right place at the right time. They were dying in the perfect place for a Hindu to die. Their contentment really got to me. How could they be so content? It conflicted with all my Western values. My Western life had always been about achievement, wanting, desiring, doing more, getting more. I always felt as if I were in the wrong place at the wrong time because there must be something better. I was forever collecting the next achievement, but those people in Benares had something I hadn't been able to collect: contentment. All you need is, so if I'm in my soul, when I look at others, I see their souls. I will see the individual differences, men and women, rich and poor, attractive and unattractive, and all that stuff. But when we recognize each other as souls, we are seeing each other as aspects of the one. Love is the emotion of merging, of becoming one. Love is a way of pushing through into the one. We treat love and hate and the other emotions like they are all on the same level, but they're not. Hate, fear, lust, greed, jealousy, all that comes from the ego. Only love comes from the soul. When you identify with your soul, you live in a loving universe. The soul loves everybody. It's like the sun. It brings out the beauty in each of us. You can feel it in your heart. In those early days of being with Maharaji, he would tell me repeatedly, Ram Dass, love everyone and tell the truth. At that time, I could only touch that place for occasional moments. I was living most of the time on the ego plane. I could love almost everyone for short periods of time, but the truth was that I did not love everyone. There was that day when I was so angry with everyone, and Maharaji came up to me, nose to nose, looked me in the eye, and said, Ram Dass, love everyone and tell the truth. He was telling me to take a different path and become a soul. What he was saying is that when I can relate from that soul plane of consciousness, which is who I really am, I will love everyone. That is my truth. It's only taking me 40 years to figure it out. Learn the art of taking your stand on the truth within. When you love or when you live in this truth, the result is the fusion of the mind and the heart and the end of all fears and sorrow. It is not a dry attainment of mere power or intellectual knowledge. A love which is illuminated by the intuitive wisdom of the Spirit will bless your life with ever renewing fulfillment and never ending sweetness. That's Meher Baba, life at its best. You can stay in touch with your soul by dwelling in the moment. Soul is entered, or soul is centered in your heart. It is the heart mind. Do your daily acts with love. That's what the soul can do. When you are identified with your soul, you not only reflect God's light, but you also become a mirror for others to find their souls. The only goal a soul has is to satisfy God and become one with the beloved. Everything is as it should be. I say that because I've surrendered to the one. The one makes this moment perfectly fulfilled, and I am quiet and peaceful inside. Go inside for peace. Go inside for compassion. Go inside for wisdom. Go inside for joy. Go inside for love. Meditation. I am loving awareness. The Atman, the universal soul within all, manifests within you as your individual soul, that part of you that is wisdom, compassion, joy, love, and peace. Start by quieting down and going inside to your spiritual heart space. Allow yourself to sink deeper and deeper into your soul. Concentrate on the middle of your chest and allow this phrase to reverberate in this heart space. I am loving awareness. I am loving awareness. Allow it to become part of you. Then, with grace, you will become just loving awareness. Use your breath and continue centering in, out, in, out. The movement of air at the nostrils, at the tip of your nose, or the rise and fall of your diaphragm in your belly are good places to keep centering on your breathing. As your thoughts subside into the ocean of the breath, keep bringing your concentration to the middle of your heart space. That point is your spiritual heart, and that loving awareness is you. It's the real you because you are awareness. Now you can be aware of your eyes and what they see. You can be aware of the ears and what they hear. You can be aware of your skin and what it feels. You can be aware of your mind and the river of thoughts that flows from your mind. Thoughts, thoughts, thoughts. Some of those thoughts are positive, some are negative, some are about you, some are about others. Some of them are judging thoughts, but you stay identified with loving awareness in your heart, in the heart center. I am loving awareness. I am loving awareness. I am loving awareness. I am loving awareness. Awareness is not a thing. We can label it, but it is not the words. You are loving awareness. So is Christ. So is Krishna. So is Buddha. So is Maharaji. They are loving awareness, and so are you. Loving awareness is one loving awareness. Each of us is a finger of the hand of universal awareness. Loving awareness is in everybody. Everybody is in loving awareness. Wars and disagreements, separate nations, those are the games we play. Yet we are loving awareness. We are individuals, but we're not. We are all God. You are an individual and you are also part of the whole. You are loving awareness. And when you finally get to be loving awareness, Just be loving awareness. Being love now. I honor the light in all of us. The more I love God, the more I love the forms of God, which are all forms. Living from the soul is pretty much a heart center journey. I get on a bus, and by the time I get off, I feel like I have met intimate family members I've known all my life. We're all in love with one another. To live in your spiritual heart with the degree of openness it entails, trust in the one. In that loving awareness, you are not as vulnerable as you would be in the ego, where you think you are separate from others. How did the rose ever open its heart and give it to this world, all of its beauty? It felt the encouragement of light against its being. Otherwise, we all remain too frightened. Hafiz, how did the rose? Translated by Daniel Lidinsky. How does one become loving awareness? If I change my identification from the ego to the soul, then as I look to people, they all appear like souls to me. I change from my head, the thought of who I am, to my spiritual heart, which is different, which is a different sort of awareness. Feeling directly, intuiting, loving awareness. It's changing from a worldly outer identification to a spiritual inner identification. Concentrate on your spiritual heart right in the middle of your chest. Keep repeating the phrase, I am loving awareness. I am loving awareness. I am loving awareness. The object of our love is love itself. It is the inner light in everyone and everything. Love is a state of being. You begin to love people because they just are. You see the mystery of the divine in form. When you live in love, you see love everywhere you look. You are literally in love with everyone you look at. When that starts to happen, as you fall in love with everyone you meet, you may think that you want to collect them all. So you get one and you say, let's nest. And you get furniture and drapes and you make a nest. You go out into the supermarket to get tofu and beer, and you look into the eyes of the person at the checkout counter. The eyes are the windows of the soul. So you look, and they're your beloved too. And there's your beloved too. Now, what are you going to do? You've already got one at home. Do you say, have you considered a menage a trois? You have to graduate from a deprivation to an abundance model. It's abundant because you are it. You are radiating love wherever you go. As you become love, when you walk down the street, everyone is the most beautiful person all over again. You look and appreciate. You may meet another's eyes and you both recognize the love. but you don't have to do anything about it. The art form of relationship is to realize that every relationship you are in, every relationship at every moment is a vehicle for awakening love, and it's up to you. The beloved is everywhere. There's a moment, there was a moment when I was on a lecture tour and I was staying at a funky motel. It was one of those really plastic places. I arrived and I went into my room and I sat down and I was starting to set up my little puja table on the plastic bureau. I was moving the hotel menu and stuff and sitting there, and it was kind of depressing. I thought, well, a few more weeks and this tour will be over and I can go home. Then I saw the pain that thought the then I saw the pain that thought was creating. I got up and I walked out of this room, closed the door, walked down the hall, turned around, came back, unlocked the door, and yelled, I'm home. I came in and I sat down and I looked and I thought to myself, I wouldn't particularly have decorated this way, but what the hell? If I am not at home anywhere in the universe, I've got a problem. If I say I can only be home here, but not there, what is home? Home is where the heart is. Home is the quality of presence. It's the quality of being. Home is always here. Quiet your mind, let go of molds and models and thought forms. Open your heart and let your thoughts and emotions get consumed by the moment until you become just pure presence. Now you are living in the Tao, and it is with you wherever you go. Don't go outside your house to see flowers. My friend, don't bother with that excursion. Inside your body there are flowers. One flower has 1,000 petals. That will do for a place to sit. Sitting there will have a glimpse of beauty inside the body and out of it. Before gardens and gardens, before gardens and after gardens could be our place to sit. When you and I rest together in loving awareness, we swim together in the ocean of love. Remember, it's always right there. Enter into a flow of love with a quiet mind and see all things with love as part of yourself. The wheel of illusion. A soul takes a human birth in order to have a series of experiences through which it will awaken out of its illusion and separateness. This physical experience of being incarnated is the curriculum, and the purpose of the course is to awaken us from the illusion that we are the incarnation. Spiritual practices are tools to help us accomplish these goals. You start from innocence and you return to innocence. A sage was asked, how long have we been on this journey? He replied, imagine a mountain where 3 miles wide, 3 miles high, and 3 miles long. Once every 100 years, a bird flies over the mountain holding a silk scarf in its beak, which it brushes across the surface of the mountain. And the time it takes for the scarf to wear away the mountain, that's how long we've been doing this. We are on an inevitable course of awakening. If you understand that message deeply, it allows you to enter into your spiritual practices from a different perspective, one of patience and timelessness. You do your practices not out of a sense of duty or because you think you should, but because you know in your soul there really is nothing else you would rather do. In Sanskrit, this is called Varyaga or wait a minute here, Vairagya. Bear with me here. A state of weariness with worldly desire where only the desire for spiritual fulfillment is left. The spiritual pull is the last desire, one that really grabs you, but that dissolves on its own because you dissolve in the process. The Tao says in the end, you will be like the valley, which is the favorite resort of the way. You become receptive, become soft, become open, become attuned, become quiet. You become the ocean of love. The soul is made of love and must ever strive to return to love. It can never find rest nor happiness in other things. It must lose itself in love. Mechtilde of Magdeburg. In the end, all of our other desires merge in the immense longing to have no barrier between us and our real beloved, Eknath Iswaran. Time is a box formed by thoughts of the past and future. When there is only the immediate now, when you're not dwelling in the past or anticipating the future, but you are just right here, right now, you're outside of time. Dwelling in the moment is dwelling in the soul, which is eternal presence. When we're outside of time, there's no subject or object, it's all just here. The thinking mind deals only with subject and object, but from within here now, you watch time go by. You are not being in time, you be, and time goes by. And as if you were standing on a bridge and watching it all go by. Ours is a journey towards simplicity, toward quietness, toward a kind of joy that is not in time. In this journey out of time to now here, we are leaving behind every model we have had, who we thought we were. This journey involves the transformation of our being so that our thinking mind becomes our servant rather than our master. It's a journey that takes us from primary identification with our psyche to identification with our souls, then to identification with God, and ultimately beyond any identification at all. So life is an incredible curriculum in which we live richly and passionately as a way of awakening to the deepest truths of our being. As a soul, I have only one motive to merge with God. As a soul, I live in the moment, in each rich and precious moment, and I am filled with contentment. May the blessings of God rest upon you. May his peace abide with you. May his presence illuminate your heart now and forever. And that's a Sufi prayer. Oh, okay. So That was chapter 6, or no, sorry, 7, chapter 7, content to be, and the idea of the guru and the witness. So finding the teacher within and in everyone. So love everybody and tell the truth. And that's where the sticker is pretty cool, because it says, when you know how to listen, everybody is the guru. By Ram Dass. Okay, so as we finish this chapter, I invite you to share. So, what resonated with you today? How does this reading connect to your own practice or your work in the world? So, please join the conversation in the comments below. For more deep dives into these teachings, I encourage you to explore the archives at ramdas.org. And thank you for your presence. May we all love everyone, serve everyone, and remember God. Ram Ram. So thanks, everybody. I'm Angus Wright. I also go by Angus by Design, and I am a practitioner of lived experience dedicated to the path of Seva and heart-centered service, integrating modalities like wellness recovery action planning, emotional CPR, and certified personal medicine. I walk alongside others as a peer, not as a pro. Their work and my work is an invitation to move from roles to souls, polishing the mirror together to reflect the kindness and presence we all carry within. I practice Seva as a student of the Love, Serve, Remember Foundation, and I practice reciprocity with gratitude for inclusion and accessibility to the mighty network space where our inner academy houses our collective contributions and connections to uphold the privacy of all and the principles of the teachings of Ram Dass and Neem Karoli Baba. Ram Ram.
The difference is where you do the service from. There are an awful lot of religious organizations that do service, but they do service like will help the poor. That's not exactly karma yoga, or the use of serving somebody to transcend the dualism between the server and the served. I mean, I'm talking about it as a very precise method of enlightenment, of serving where there is no server. Because the Bhagavad Gita says, be not identified with being the actor, and be not attached to the fruits of the action. But still you do it. Now, how do you help somebody where you're not attached to how it comes out, and you're not busy being the helper? That's the art form. Then you're just doing what you're doing because you're doing what you're doing. You are the help. You're not the helper. You're the help. And who's getting helped remains open to question. If you're not getting helped by being a helper, forget it. You must be standing alone.